Two UK festivals have announced they will not take place this year. We are sad to report that two UK festivals, Boomtown and 2000 Trees, have announced they will not take place this year. Boomtown, which was due to take place in mid-August just outside of Winchester, released a statement citing a lack of government-backed insurance for COVID-related cancellations. They released a statement which we'll show you on screen, and they additionally noted that they were looking at a gamble of an 8-figure sum if they attempted to go ahead this year and then cancel. They did confirm that all tickets for 2021 would remain valid for next year and refunds are available for those that want it. Additionally, 2000 Trees, originally planned for July, is also postponed until 2022. In their statement, Trees also cited a lack of government-backed cancellation insurance as a factor in this decision, saying, "The UK government have repeatedly refused to provide any COVID cancellation insurance for the live events industry, and going ahead with this year's events would simply be a huge financial risk, potentially jeopardising our long-term survival." Another factor in this decision by Trees are the current travel restrictions that would cause around 20 bands to miss this year, including headliners Thrice and Jimmy Eat World, along with Knocked Loose, Stray from the Path, Young Guns and more. One good bit of news from 2000 Trees is that they have confirmed several bands appearing next year, including Jimmy Eat World and Thrice, along with Knocked Loose, Dream State, Laura Jane Grace, Stitch Your Guns and others. How do we feel about this, boys?
I'm gutted, particularly about 2000 Trees, because I was planning to go. It's a shame. It was only the other day that we were talking about the pilot event and how that made us really hopeful for festival season. But obviously the government don't feel that they can put an insurance scheme across. So if that doesn't give festivals the assurance that they need to go ahead, then I don't really blame them for having to cancel. Also, in the case of 2000 Trees, it's sort of almost admirable for them to cancel, because I guess they probably could have still gone ahead, but the fact that they feel like they can't deliver the level of lineup that they were promising kind of forces them to cancel as well, I guess.
I pretty much echo the same as what Dan's just said. This was going to be my first time going to Trees, and it was going to be, after all this pandemic, the first kind of big show we're going to be able to see live music again. So my anticipation was high, and now after this news, a little bit more wary, kind of thinking of these upcoming gigs and festivals we've got lined up and how those could then also be impacted as well. So a little bit wary now, to be honest.
Yeah, and it feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth, really. I mean, throughout this entire pandemic, there's been just a lack of care about live music and the arts in general from the government. I think it was Boomtown in their statement said that it is feasible for the government to provide this kind of cancellation insurance. They just don't want to do it. And it sucks, small festivals like Trees that's independent have got to take another hit having a year out. This does also call into question some other festivals that are planned for this year, especially with regards to international acts. So for Reading and Leeds, Post Malone, Queens of the Stone Age, Fever 323, Spirit Box and MGK are among some of the foreign acts that may not be able to come over for the event. For Slam Dunk, they could potentially lose Sum 41, NoFX, Pennywise, State Champs, Story So Far, and many others. Do we guys think that those festivals could still go ahead?
It's hard to say, really. I mean, what Reading and Leeds and Slam Dunk both have going for them is they're right at the end of the season. There's still a few months to go before those happen, but at the same time, it goes back to this insurance thing, really. If the government can't guarantee that the festival can go ahead and doesn't want to insure them, then they need to make the call sooner rather than later as to whether they can really go ahead. And like you said, it seems like such an easy thing for the government to put in place, but for whatever reason they just don't want to. Whether that's because A, they don't feel confident that these events will go ahead and they don't want to have to pay out on the insurance, or B, whether they just don't want to support the industry. I don't know.
It also calls into question Truck Festival, which is quite local to us. I mean, their lineup would be relatively unchanged with the travel restrictions, but as a very small independent festival, it may be that it's too much of a gamble for them to go ahead this year. It's supposed to be taking place in July, so who knows if they'll be able to run it safely and effectively.
I guess the rest of these festivals now will probably, the ones that won't be affected by having bands and artists travelling from overseas. There'll be all eyes on this pilot event now and the results from that. But it's nice to see Latitude Festival put out a lineup today on day of recording. So there's obviously still some that are confident of going ahead.
Yeah, and we'll keep you updated if any more festivals make any more announcements. What do you guys at home think? Do you think any other festivals will get postponed? What are you planning on going to next year? Let us know in the comments, like this video and hit subscribe for more videos like this in the world of music. And thanks for watching.